Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of gold and silver. Go through the normal gamut of what we're looking at in terms of areas. Again, this is just my financial opinion. Please don't use it as advice. But let's dive in here and I'll give you my opinion. So today we had a dollar that was slightly weaker today. It's putting in a little wick at the bottom. We could see this find some support here and head on a little bit higher for another bounce higher. You could say that this is a back test if the dollar is going to get strong, a lot stronger. You could say this pulled up, it did a retest move, and that it's going to actually move higher. Or maybe we just come up a little bit and then roll over. That's going to be, time will tell which one is which. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. The 10-year yield was lower. This could potentially head lower even more so. I'm seeing it looks like a lot of stuff was red today, just looking on the right-hand side of a lot of these stocks. So usually when the things sell off, yields come down and people try to find the safety in yields and the dollar. So we might see the dollar strengthen. We might see yields go down as people run into bonds in the dollar if there are problems in the market. Gold was a little bit lower today. Nothing really to say much about. Yeah, we're coming up into some resistance, so it's down just a little bit. Silver running into a little bit of resistance here, just down a teeny bit today. And platinum down a little bit at $12. So a little bit more in platinum than the others. Looking at some of the companies like Karora Resources, just kind of, I don't know why it shows as green. It was down today. So that headed lower today for Karora Resources. EXK heading a little bit lower. Could be a little bit of a bullish or bearish engulfing. We could head a little bit lower tomorrow or tomorrow. We've got SILJ coming on up, a little bit of a down day, no reversal candlestick. We have we have a wick at the top a little bit, so there is some selling pressure whenever we get to this 1260 area. GDX getting a little bit of selling pressure, but the overall market had selling pressure in it, so it's tough to say that it wasn't just this sector. Metallic minerals was down a little bit today. Koya Resources putting in a bullish engulfing. This looks really good to move higher potentially, especially how low it is. Discovery Silver putting in a bearish engulfing. Could potentially head lower in the short term. AG, a little bit of a selling pressure. No candlestick pattern. Newmont just going sideways. A little bit of a wick at the top. The contraction, the opening and closing price coming up could be a sign for a small pullback. Looks like we have selling pressure all up here. That's why the wicks are all up there. Mag Silver hitting its head on some resistance, selling off a little bit. Yamana Gold bucking the trend, but could not close above its resistance line. It came right back to it with the wick at the top. Impact Silver. Looks like we want to go lower here. See how we have these large down candlesticks? It cannot break up. This could potentially head lower, guys, and I'm seeing this across the entire commodity and the entire stock market. It's everywhere. So we're getting a little more selling pressure in Aftermath Silver. This could potentially head a little bit lower. We are below this support line, or I should say, yeah, we're below the support line, which means we could head lower. Arcana Gold looks like it's getting a little bit of selling pressure today. PLG's looking okay if it can hold, but it's not getting any help from the precious metals themselves. Looking at Sandstorm Gold, we're right at that resistance level. It's hitting its head on it. Franco-Nevada getting a little bit of selling pressure. And whenever you see these big selling pressure days here, and then you fight to come back up, it usually means you're going to result going down lower. And what you're seeing is this pattern. You got bigger selling pressure there, bigger selling pressure there. And whenever you have the seller or buyers come up like this, it's going to get sold off again, and then it comes back up and gets sold off again. So it's in a downtrend, and the sellers are in control at this moment of Franco-Nevada. EMX is getting something similar. It's playing with its trend line here, but it sold back off. Tooten Resources finding some buying pressure, heading up higher today, so that looks good. Wheat and precious metals, I drew this in here of a potential move. So again, we've got stronger selling pressure here than the buying pressure, and I think we're just going to bounce. And we got good support down here. Gold royalty, again, it's looking a little bit weaker on the weak side. I drew this in there yesterday, saying it could go somewhere down and then potentially higher. I mean, we could have a larger pullback than what I'm even seeing, because if the overall market heads lower, these could head a little bit lower here. And this tried breaking to the upside and got sold back off for Metalla. Mavericks Metals getting nice, good buying pressure here. That looks really strong. Go Mavericks. Royal Gold, it looks like it wants to roll over and go down. That's what the contraction of the opening and closing prices is. So your buyers equal to sellers, and then it wants to kind of fall down. It doesn't have to have a big pullback, but it's still looking okay. And then we've got a Cisco Gold Royalties I drew in there that could potentially pull down and then come back up, is what I've got, just as a quick drawing in there. But that looks okay. They're battling back and forth. There's buyers here. But just kind of speaking in general terms, the overall market does look a little weak. Same with a lot of other commodities, especially in energy and whatnot. I was listening to Felix Zuloff, and he says that we could have a potential pullback in the beginning of 2022, and it looks like that it could possibly be the case with commodities and just everything in general. You get this pullback in the beginning, and then we take off. Some of these look like oil and potentially uranium look like we could be in a consolidation period where we could see further pullbacks and whatnot. But I'm not doing anything with my shares. I'm just holding on. I know that the expansion phase of real estate's coming. He also made some comments about gold just taking off massively at the end of the market would be 5-6 years down the road. I totally agree with that. So he said a lot of stuff, but I've looked at some earlier clips of his, and it seems like most people can't predict the short term. So I would say that if we have cheap valuations, if we have the right market conditions, I'm going to sit through any consolidation periods or pullbacks that we get, even if it's through a corrective phase in an Elliott wave type correction, if that is. And again, I'm not an expert in it, but I can tell you those guys who are experts, they don't get it right most of the time anyway. So no one on the short term gets this stuff 100% right. So the best way that I view these things is to hold through if the valuations are good and the market conditions remain good for those valuations. So you have good valuations, good market conditions, I just hold. And if it goes down 20, 30%, I buy more. That's kind of my approach. If you guys like this analysis, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.